Good morning, Enid. It is 7:30 on this Thursday morning, August 23rd, and a few rain showers in the area. Thank you for joining us. We are so glad that you're with us today. Currently, we're holding steady around 70 degrees. However, it's going to work our way up to a warm and humid 93 degrees. Let me encourage you to grab a cup of coffee and join us for the next 30 minutes. We're going to have news, weather, sports, and we have a very, very special guest with us that has to deal with Vance Air Force Base, and you don't want to miss that. That'll come up in about 10 minutes from right now. This is Good Morning, Enid. It is time to rise and shine.
Good morning, Enid. Thanks again for joining us today. If you haven't been outside today yet, I think we're living in Washington, don't you? It has been raining, I swear, most of the month of August.
We're still trying to find out who's responsible for this August weather.
Yeah, some kind of anomaly. It's about 70 degrees, so let's take a look at that bus stop forecast. Looks like it's going to get up to a high of 93 later today, a low of 77 tonight, and there is a chance of thunderstorms later in the day, so watch out for that. But pretty nice August, I'd say, so far.
I'm not complaining. I like it.
Especially when it could be 115.
Right. Especially after the July we had, definitely. So here is this weekend's weather forecast, and it's going to be in the high 90s, so it's still warm. We are still in August.
There we go. There's some 98s.
But it should be, either way, I think it'd be a nice weekend after such a nice break that we've gotten this week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's the 3-day forecast. I think we'll have a chance to put up the radar for us this morning. Around 6:30 this morning, coming to the studio, it started kind of sprinkling. I thought, what's up with that? I thought we were over with the rain. But you can see right now the majority of the rain is in eastern Kansas. But we had a pretty good shower there about 30, 45 minutes ago. But again, we'll take the water, and it's amazing how green things are here in August. So let's look at the temperatures, the records, if you will, for on this day. Back on August 23rd. There you go. There's 108 degrees. That's an August temperature for you. Go back to 1922. That's the record high and low, 108 degrees. And then a cool 54 degrees in 1961. So those are our extreme temperatures for this day on Thursday, August 23rd. I don't know about you. August is going. It just got here, and it's blowing by. So
that's right. Well, and if you're already hungry this morning, we do want to talk about food. We want to bring out the school menu.
Always. Looks like we're having fish sticks today. Fish sticks, macaroni and cheese, salad, zucchini, mixed fruit, and milk.
And for tomorrow, we'll have grilled cheese sandwich, tomato soup, broccoli, apple slices, and milk.
I think I vote for Thursday.
I would definitely go for Friday.
Fish sticks, yeah. It's 7:33 again. Good morning, Enid. Thank you for joining us. And if you want to be updated with the news that happened overnight, news and the sports as well, we always turn to one guy early on Thursday morning, and that's Derrick Silas, the bow tie guy, and he has the Oklahoma Minute.
This week, Facebook takes down 652 pages after finding disinformation campaigns from Iran and Russia. And cannabis stocks soar to new highs. It has been soaring since the maker of Corona beer boosted its investment in a Canadian company by $4 billion. There'll be runoff elections in Oklahoma next Tuesday, August the 28th, for some of our top candidate races. And the officials at the Oklahoma State Department of Education said about 915 more emergency certifications are expected to be approved this week. In local news, the Enid Young Professionals recognized top 10 of Enid community members under the age of 40. These individuals demonstrate qualities of a well-rounded individual who has excelled in multiple areas, including professional and community aspects. The speaker for that event was Tulsa Mayor G.T. Bynum. Also Tuesday, the city received $66.5 million in funding for a water project from the Oklahoma Water Resources Board. The city is currently in phase 3 of the Call Lake project. And in 1999, on this day in history, New York City reports its first cases of the West Nile virus, which at first was to be believed to be encephalitis. 7 people died, and there were 56 CDC confirmed cases by the end of the summer. And that's the Oklahoma Minute.
Thank you very much for that information, Derrick. I do have big news I wanted to share with you guys.
Big news. Drum roll. Here we go.
Yes, definitely. We did close on our new house this Monday. So there's our picture. It's the second house we've bought, but I really want to say Enid title closing.
Excuse me, Sarah, but you must have a big front door. You got a key that big?
Right.
Good
I was
golly.
going for space, so I definitely went for a bigger house. But Enid closing really made it like an amazing experience. Like I said, this is the second house we've bought, but the experience was just really nice.
So you're making 2 house payments. Well, congratulations. Yeah.
Hopefully not for long. Just like that, if we definitely want to hear great news from you guys, if there's anything you guys would like to share, question, comments, remember that you can always email us at gme@enid.org, and we love to share them with our viewers. If there's anything yet you're planning for this weekend, since we are looking at a nice, warm August weekend, you can always rely on Erin to let us know what's going on this weekend. So here's Erin.
Thanks, Sarah. There's quite a few events going on this weekend. Kicking us off this Friday is live music at the Spot, and it's Tyler Brandt. If you ever watched The Voice, he auditioned for it a while back. It's at 9:30 at night at the Spot. He's a country music singer. He's on tour in Oklahoma and Arkansas, and he's originally from Oklahoma, so an Oklahoma native coming out to Enid, Oklahoma. And he will also be back, if you can't make it this Friday, on October 27th. And he was actually nominated in 2016 for a Georgia Music Award for the Best Country Male Vocalist. So he's definitely someone to check out if you're looking for any great country music on Friday night. And then following that, we have Saturday morning, the Woodring Regional Airport breakfast fly-in at 8 a.m. till 10 a.m. It's $7 buffet breakfast, all you can eat from Barnstormers Restaurant. There's going to be fly-in aircrafts, static displays on ramps, and a spot landing contest. So if you want all you can eat breakfast, which who doesn't want that, definitely go check this out, because who doesn't want to watch a spot landing contest? I've never seen one, but I've heard they're really fun to watch. And then also on Saturday, if you watched last week's show, I mentioned it, there is Cash Days Legal Street Drag Racing on Purdue in front of Chisholm Trail from 2 p.m. to 11 p.m., but the races start at 5 p.m. It's $15 in advance and $20 at the door. There will be 3 different types of races. There'll be a small tire, daily driver, and big tire, but they're only invitation, so you cannot just show up and drive, but it'll be definitely a fun event to watch. It benefits the Keeping the Lines Foundation, which is helping those that help us every day, which benefits EMT, police, fire, first responders, military. So definitely a great cause. There'll be food, beer trucks, and concessions. So definitely go check this out if you want to see some legal drag racing. And then finally, on Tuesday, no longer the weekend, but Tuesday, we have the Main Street Mixer and Trolley Tour. It is on Tuesday at Napoli's after work, so around 5 p.m. You bring a business card, event flyer, you're promoting the community. And then afterwards, there's the Trolley Bob, which will go around and tour Enid's history and architecture for $10. So definitely some great events happening this weekend, and well, that's what's happening.
Thank you, Erin. It's 7:38 on this Thursday morning, August 23rd, as we're working our way up to a warm and humid 93 degrees today. Well, you get towards the end of August, and it's time for football season. Sarah's favorite time of year, football, football, football. The reason I mentioned that is that we'd like to remind you that here on the Enid Television Network, on Channel 11 and 111, we host the Plainsman Football Coaches Show with Steve and Steve. That's Coach Steve Hayes, and I have the privilege to visit with Coach Hayes every week, and that airs on the Enid Television Network. And the shows we taped our first show on Monday, and they've been airing this week late in the evening, so we encourage you to watch the show. We highlight the student athletes, and so we're just pleased to be a part of that. So at 7:39, we need to make room for our very special guest coming up in just a moment, but we have a little promo to remind us that it's just about time for football. We'll be back right after this. Good.
Thank you. I want his shoulder taken out.
Yes, sir. Ready, set,
Good catch, Johnny.
Good catch. Of course, in Oklahoma, we're always excited about football. High school football gets underway tomorrow night as the Guthrie Blue Jays come to town and play the Plainsmen. Kickoff 7 o'clock over at Selby Stadium right here in Enid, Oklahoma. Good morning, Enid. 7:40. Currently holding steady, 70 degrees after a little rain shower this morning. We have a very special guest this morning. Well, they're always special, but the fact that the Colonel's been in the Enid community probably less than 2 months, I guess.
37 days.
37 days, but who's counting? Our very special guest is Colonel Corey Simmons.
Sir.
Good morning.
Nice to see you.
Thank you for being with us. We appreciate that. And welcome to Good Morning Enid, live television. And we're watching every word that you say. So.
Yeah, this is a little intimidating. First things I'm noticing is that my hair is a little grayer on television than I'd like for it to be. And
but you're 15 pounds lighter.
15 pounds lighter. It's the first time that I can recall being on live TV since I was 8 years old. I won a spelling bee, so don't ask me to spell anything now, but that'll be the last time that I can remember being on live TV.
Well, Colonel, we're first off, thank you for your service. We appreciate you being here in the studio today to be part of Good Morning Enid. And watch out for Sara. She's got some tough questions.
I can't hardly wait.
Good morning. We're glad to have you here this morning. And you've said it right now. You're fairly new to Enid. So we definitely have a few topics to talk about this morning that are, our top priority this morning. But we want to know a little bit about you. So can you tell us a little bit about your military career and the bases where you have been?
All right, I'll be brief. I've been doing this 20 years. So I came in the Air Force in 1998. I was a graduate of Bellarmine University, where this fine physical physique you see before you used to play college basketball. The best part of that school is that I met my wife, Dawn, and if you get to meet her, you'll know why. She's the best person I know. Went from there, spent some time in Philadelphia as a recruiter, did my pilot training at Columbus Air Force Base, Mississippi. Spent 3.5 years as a FAPE doing that. Spent some time in the Pentagon twice, once as a young captain, and then later on helping the Air Force build the budget for 3 years. Have 2 tours in Seattle, up at the McCord Air Force Base, where I got to fly C-17s. Best part about that is 75 countries in all 7 continents the Air Force has allowed me to put my foot on. And then one additional assignment at Scott Air Force Base, just outside of St. Louis, where I was on staff. And then my last 2 assignments previous to Dover is I got to do a fellowship at Harvard, which is one thing I'll just mention is that I was assigned to Harvard. I was not accepted. Those are 2 very different things, which is very awesome to get to audit classes at Harvard. And then but right before I came here, I was the vice wing commander at Dover Air Force Base, which is a C-5, C-17 cargo hub, largest one on the East Coast. And most notably is the place where our fallen heroes come home. And arguably the most humbling and honorable experience I've had before I got to come to Enid. So when I drove through the gate on 9 July with the change of command on 16 July was the first time I'd ever been to Enid. This place is special. You can tell from the very beginning.
And I'm sorry we didn't have a 115-degree day to greet you there. Colonel, as commander at Vance Air Force Base, first off, tell us a little bit about your role as commander, but also the second part of the question is, what are the challenges that you face? If you could narrow it down.
Sure. Yeah. So as commander of the base, one, it's an eclectic bunch. It's not a normal Air Force base. The breadth of the type of folks who work there is different, and it's awesome. So we have about 2,500 folks on any given day that come to work at Enid, come to work at Vance, and the flavor is contractor, government civilian, airman, officer, pilot, non-pilot. It's definitely a melting pot of all things for our Air Force, and for me, it's the first touch point for somewhere between 350 to 500 pilots. Their first touch point of all things Air Force starts at Vance. So you asked me what one of my challenges is how do I put those folks on the right path? How do we introduce them to the Air Force to the point that this is the way? This is how we do things here. But as I go to sleep at night and I think about the challenge for Vance, they're going to ask us to do more than we've ever done. If you go back in history, Enid Airfield, 1941, from 41 to 45, produced 8,000 pilots. You know, now we think it's hard to produce 350, right? It's a totally different era. But they're going to ask us to go from 350 pilots a year to upwards of 450 and maybe even higher as we get 3, 4, 5 years out. And how do we do that with the infrastructure that we have? What different infrastructure do we need in order to produce that? And all at the same time, not changing the standard. Right? When you come to Enid and you come to Vance, there is an expectation that you leave here as a world-class aviator. That's not changing. You know, we're going to continue to get after making sure that every single person that walks off this base is ready to go fly combat missions for our Air Force. That's a tremendous weight on all of our folks' shoulders. We want to make sure that we get that right every single time.
And Colonel, I have the privilege, my mother-in-law is in a retirement home in Oklahoma City, and what's fun for me is to go and have dinner with her, but there will be some gentlemen that they're in their 90s, but they went through Vance. And so they want to come over and talk to me about Enid, so it's fun. So Enid has this global impact, if you will. So
Absolutely.
I know there's a big event coming up, and
There
Sara wants to pin you down on some particulars on it.
Yes, there is. We do know that the 71st anniversary of the Air Force Ball is coming up soon. So you made it just in time to celebrate with us. Can you tell us about the time, date, location about this event?
Sure. Before I do that, I just want to just catch the why we call it what we call it. All right. So the 71st Air Force Ball, 71 years, 1947. The Air Force became its own service. It's actually when we started to name it Vance Air Force Base. So 71st Air Force Ball, that kind of makes sense. And if you look at our patch, what's our wing?
71st.
71st Flying Training Wing. So the play on words actually works for us this year, right? So it's the 71st Air Force Ball for the 71st Flying Training Wing and Vance. So it's, all that stuff kind of ties together. But to answer your question, it's September 8th. It starts, cocktail hour is at 6 o'clock. The program will start around 7. I wasn't here last year for the Air Force Ball, but everyone that had attended, the 512 people that attended last year, all raved about how grand and elegant and special that it was. And that folks, when they looked at their watch and it was 10 o'clock, they couldn't believe that they were still fully engaged in the event. And so September 8th, 6 o'clock cocktails, 7 o'clock for the program to start. It's a black tie event. And we are really hoping that we get as many people in the community as we possibly can to be there.
And we want to remind everyone that the event, the Air Force Ball, is at the Central National Bank Center, which is in downtown Enid. Colonel, you touched on the history a little bit, 70 plus years of the Air Force Ball. Here's my history question. Why the celebration from the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s? Why the Air Force Ball? Is it time just to so-called relax, or is it to honor folks, or what?
So I'll say a little bit. I'll say it's an inferiority complex a little bit for our brothers and sister services. So we're a young service, right? We've only been in 71 years, right?
The Marines are 100 plus.
Well, 200 plus, 200 plus years old, and so the gallantry and history of our sister services is honestly what kind of drove the Air Force to do the same thing. Okay. It's celebrating our heritage. It's celebrating why we became in existence. Why in 1947 the president decided that we needed a separate service, that we brought separate capabilities and separate cultures to be able to get after how we fight our nation's enemies. And so it's really a way to just celebrate why we are what we are. We get the opportunity to tie our community into it. Last year was the first time we actually invited the public to the Air Force Ball. It's been an internal event where we internally celebrate. And we finally realized that there are just as many patriots outside the gates at Enid than there are inside the gates of Vance. And that there are folks who were retirees or folks that wanted to be a part of it. Why wouldn't we invite them in to have that opportunity with us? So if you're sitting at home and you want to celebrate Vance, I got a venue for you to be able to come to. And you will leave there with just as much, and you'll hear it again before I get off this stage, Vance proud. You'll get all you want while you're there.
It's 7:50 on Thursday morning, August 23rd. Good morning, Enid. Our very special guest today is Colonel Corey Simmons. And would you say 37 days? You've been
37 days.
Been here for 37 days. Well, we'll have more with the Colonel in just a few moments, but we need to get back to the news.
That's right. If you missed it earlier, we do want to bring back Derrick with the Oklahoma Minute.
Thanks, Sarah. This week, Facebook takes down 652 pages after finding disinformation campaigns ran from Iran and Russia. And cannabis stocks soared to new highs as the maker of the Corona beer boosted its investment in the Canadian company by $4 billion. Tuesday, August the 28th, runoff elections will be in Oklahoma for major races. And officials of the Oklahoma State Department of Education said about 915 more emergency certifications are expected to be approved this week. The Enid Young Professional recognized the top 10 Enid community members under the age of 40 and the Social Shaker winners Tuesday. Also Tuesday, the city received a $66.5 million funding for the Charlet project from the Oklahoma Water Resources Board. The city is in its third phase of the project. And on this date in history, in 1999, the New York City reports the first cases of the West Nile virus, which at first was believed to be just encephalitis. 7 people died, and there were 56 CDC-confirmed cases. And that's the Oklahoma Minute. Now, here's Kevin for upcoming events at the Central National Bank Center.
Welcome inside the Central National Bank Center, or outside the Central National Bank Center. I'm the General Manager, Kevin Boryczki, talking about everything exciting we have coming up here right behind us. We just had a big announcement this week, really exciting. It's our Christmas show. Larry Gatlin and the Gatlin Brothers Country and Christmas Tour coming to the Central National Bank Center on December 5th. Really excited for that. Tickets go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. They start at only $29. There's also a $45, $59, and $69 ticket. Going to be a ton of fun. We're doing a pre-show dinner before that for only $22.50, and it's a prime rib buffet, so going to be a lot of fun, a great Christmas show. Crazy that it's August and we're already talking about the holiday season, but that's coming up on December 5th. Right here at the Central National Bank Center. Other things coming up, we have the Air Force Community Ball. That's going to be on September 8th. Vance and the community of Enid have a great partnership. Very rarely is an event like this open to the public. This one is, so take advantage of it. Show your support for Vance Air Force Base by attending the Vance Air Force Community Ball. That's September 8th. On September 23rd, Ronnie Millsap will be right here. What a country legend to be on the stage at the Central National Bank Center. 40 #1 country hits. Pretty impressive. Tickets for that start at $39, and that's September 23rd. On September 27th, Jay Owenhouse, the Authentic Illusionist, coming to the CNB Center. Going to be a really neat show. Was here a few years ago. People loved it. Check it out. You'll surely be entertained and amazed by it. In November, we have Matthew West, Jeremy Camp, the Answer All In Tour. That's going to be on November 8th. A great night of praise, worship, and music. And then on November 27th and 28th, Paw Patrol coming to town. Great show for the family. Probably one of the top shows on television right now for kids. And it'll be right here live. 3 performances on November 27th and 28th. We have a ton going on here at the Central National Bank Center. A lot more coming up for everything that's going on at the CNB Center. CNBcenter.com for tickets. You can go there as well, or 855-TICK-ENID, or just stop down and see us. 2nd floor of Convention Hall at the CNB Center. Until next time, back into the studio to you, Steve.
Thank you, Kevin. Good morning, Enid. 7:54. We're working our way as you're planning your wardrobe to a humid 93 degrees today. We've got time for a couple more questions with our very special guest, Colonel Corey Simmons.
Yes, and one of the most important things regarding an event, let's talk music. I hear that the St. Louis Big Band is returning this year.
They are, 18-piece big band right out of St. Louis. They were with us last year. Incredibly entertaining, and it's not just the music. I mean, the music will be fantastic, and they'll be dancing at the end and the like, but there's also a dinner theater kind of feel. You know, so they'll kind of play from 1940s, 50s, 60s music all the way through today, so that you can kind of get a feel from what music we were listening to at Enid back then and kind of what we're doing now. It's definitely something you won't want to miss.
So if you're a Glenn Miller fan, that's where you want to be on September 8th. Real quick, Colonel, dress code. I think you touched on you're going to have to clean your act up to go to this thing.
Yeah, you got to put your Sunday best on, right? So it's a black tie event, but I just want to encourage folks, don't let the black tie scare you from coming to the event. If you've got a Sunday suit, you could put a bow tie on like our news guy over here, and you can rock it out, and it'd be a black tie event for you as well. So don't let the dress code scare you away from coming to our event. That is one thing that we just want as many folks from our community to come as we can.
Very good. Okay, this is our favorite segment, right?
Yes, it's one of our favorite segments, and we definitely want to give you the time to introduce, for Charlotte to introduce a pet of the week.
Hi, good morning. Today we have Shaky Malone, and Shaky Malone is in pen 2 with 2 other kittens. And he's really scared here at the shelter, but luckily we have our new cat mural that was painted this weekend by a lot of our community members. So we'd like to say thank you to those who came out and painted the mural. And we're going to finish up our renovations here and have a really happy place for our scaredy cats. So if you guys like a new cat or a dog, come by the shelter and meet your new best friend.
Shaky Malone. You've got to have a cat named Shaky Malone. Remember, there's the option. That's just the adoption name. You take the kitty cat home, you have the freedom to come up with your own Shaky Malone name. At 7:56, we need to talk about football. Penn has put together a little graphic for us. Let us know about Friday Night Lights. And my hometown of Perry, the home of the Maroons, they go to Fairview this Friday. But you can see Guthrie comes to town. Those are some of the area games. I believe the Covington Douglas and Timberlake is tonight, Thursday night game. But golly, football season already. That's exciting.
Can't wait.
Can't wait. And of course, Colonel Sara, she's just not quite there yet about football, but it's close. Well, we've got less than probably a minute or so to go. Tickets and information. How much is a ticket? And we're going to put on the screen a little bit like a website and some graphic information. What can you tell
for our
us?
folks from downtown, the ticket sales are $85 to be able to come see individual tickets. If you'd like to sit with somebody in particular and you'd like to buy a table, there's a discount for that. I believe that you save $10 per ticket if you buy a table. It's definitely a grand event, one that with a red carpet arrival, so that everybody can kind of get gussied up, for lack of a better term, on September 8th.
Well, I haven't heard Gussie up in a while, so the sad thing is I understand what he means.
That's exactly right. Well, we speak the same language. That's okay.
I failed to mention, Colonel, you have a special guest, a special speaker coming, I believe.
Absolutely. The Vice Chief of Staff of the Air Force, General Sevy Wilson, is coming. He was the wing commander at Columbus, one of our sister bases, about 10 years ago. He's our #2 ranked service officer in the Air Force. And within just a couple of weeks, we will have had the Air Education and Training Command Commander, General Steve Quast, and now the 4-star Sevy Wilson. And for us, it's about showing him Vance proud.
Sure.
Show him exactly all the things that are going on at Enid at Vance Air Force Base, and just be able to connect how much our community loves us. If you ask me what I've learned in 37 days, boss, it is Enid loves Vance. And who wouldn't want to work at a place like that?
Very true. Well, we got 20 seconds to say goodbye. Colonel Simmons, thank you
Good
for
to
your
see you.
service. Thank you for being with us on Good Morning Enid. And come back and see us at any time, okay?
You have me, I'll be here.
Very good. Make it a great day.
Yes, definitely. Make it a great Thursday, and we'll see you next week.
Good morning, Enid.